Hello, freshmen. This is the video on the geography case study. You've been put in your geography groups, which you'll be in for another 3 to 4 weeks. We're probably around the 5-week mark or just before we'll switch into different groups for our early civilization and early human unit. But this is kind of the exit exam. It's not an exam at all, but it is an exit performance task or project called the geography case study. The GCS is our first group performance challenge. Your objectives will be listed below, and you'll be assigned specific continent in the world in your groups to complete the objectives below. You'll be given roles, and those roles are as follows. So let's take a look at those roles. Each person in your group will have specific roles. I want to note this. You'll be responsible for your role, but you'll also be expected to assist in other areas when needed. There'll be a facilitator, a computer specialist, the researcher, graphic designer, and support. Now, the facilitator. This person has leadership qualities, but I want to be sure about something. Something. You all have leadership qualities. This person may have those qualities on the outside a little bit more right now. We may need to pull those qualities out of you later, but a facilitator will not be the facilitator every time. If you are a facilitator, what your job is to be sure that all things are completed in order to meet deadlines and also to have a high level of quality, and that everybody's treated fairly and has shared in the workload. Computer specialists. Now, we all know these people. They get on the computer and they make things look easy. If this is you, this might be your job. Researcher. This person will be a primary player in the print resource department. You'll have a day in the library in which you can take your pass to the library and look for different print resources with the project. This person should have library skills and experience. This world is not completely digital. Yes, we're using digital information right now, but it's not completely digital, and we cannot forget how important books are and how they have been for learning and history. Graphic designer. This is the arts person. Now, this doesn't mean that they are exclusively doing all of the artwork. In fact, some of this may be computer generated. And what is this project going to look like? That's going to be all up to the team, but the graphic designer is going to play the primary role in this area. Support. If you are a person who's like, well, some days I like to do art, some days I like to be on the computer, I don't mind the books, I can help meet deadlines. Support is the job for you. You are the flexible person in the group. When you do this project, you will see that there are odds and ends that need to be tied. In fact, life will hand you odds and ends that need to be tied. If you are the support type person, you can roll with those changes easily, and you work closely with the facilitator to assess the needs of the group and go where needed. For example, if you don't have the title, simply have the title artistically done for your poster board, or however you are deciding you're going to deliver this project. This person may sit with the graphic designer and do that. So those are your groups. Brainstorm in your group who you have and who might be good at it and what you want as a group member. Project criteria and purpose. The purpose of this project is to take a deeper look into the areas across the world using the 5 themes of geography. It's also to apply these 5 themes through chronology to better understand the scope of this course. You are going to look at some specific groups of people here and how they adapted to their geography. We have not even learned about some of the people that you are going to teach your classmates about in this particular project. The following criteria must be present in order to receive full credit on the assignment. Each one of these criteria are also on a spectrum for grading, meaning you can have aspects of this case study present, but not have performed to an outstanding level. The rubric will be given to you in the future. We'll clarify this. I'm going to give you the rubric in class, and we're going to sit down and go over it together in each group. So those are the basics of the project. I am going to take a moment here to bring you back up to the top of the project. We're going to click into the second page of the project. Again, criteria. Now this is open. You can do a poster. You can do a brochure if you like to use Publisher or other brochure making software. You can do a booklet. You can do both. You can do a combination. It says 3 different forms. Those are the 3 I suggest. But if you want to do something that's different, that's creative, you want to do a PowerPoint, you may do that. If you want to make it computer generated, if you want to do one of these videos, you certainly can. We are not going to limit your creativity here. In fact, the more creative you are, the more points you can achieve. But also, I want to see what happens when I hand you an open-ended project in which you come up with a creative way to deliver the information to your classmates. Okay, as we move down here, you'll see place name ID. For your continent, you'll be given a list of places that must be labeled and identified on a map. You can draw the map. I will show you a great example of a student of the past. You can print a map. You can do the labeling on the computer, but it must be labeled. And we need to pick 10 places per continent, 10 to 15 places per continent that have specific meaning for our course. Physical features identification. For your continent, you will identify all the major physical features, such as mountains, deserts, lakes, rivers, plains, rainforests, etc. This will appear on the same map as the place name ID. I'll change that up a little bit. If you want to do two separate maps, you certainly are available. If you want to do a physical and a political map, that is certainly available to you. That option is available to you. We've done some of this in class. We've done some of that in class, so that may become easier for you. Location. You must list 5 major cities, latitude and longitude, and explain their relative location. This is harder than it may seem. You have to have the latitude and longitude listed very accurately, and you must also explain their relative location for each one as to where they are on the map. Place. You must create a list of the major human and physical characteristics of 5 places within the continents. You must also have 3 pictures that depict place. Region. You must identify 5 separate regions that are commonly accepted and explain why those regions are unique. You must also have 3 pictures that depict those regions. Movement. This is where we get a little bit more difficult because we really have to do some deep research here. You must find 3 examples of people, ideas, or goods moving in this continent. You must find 1 example from early history, any time before the Common Era to 500 Common Era, 1 example from 500 Common Era to 1500 Common Era, and 1 example from modern times, 1900 Common Era to the present. You must also include a map that depicts the movement of each example and a caption that explains what is going on. So it's important you understand this. 3 different examples, a caption or paragraph that explains the movement, and also a map that depicts it. You can generate the map or you can find the map. Human and environment interaction. You must find 3 examples of humans changing their environment or being forced to change their environment. You must find 1 example from early history, 1 example from 500 Common Era to 1500 Common Era, and 1 example in modern times. You must also use a graphic representation or a picture for each example. Could also be a chart. It can also be a graph. This is also open-ended. This project will have 3 grades of 100 points each. The individual person's role. Did they do what their role was assigned, and did they help their group achieve their group goals? Grade 2, a group dynamics grade. Did this group function together as they should? And grade 3, the final product. Does all of this, these criteria here, place name ID through the 5 features of 5 themes of geography to the physical features identification, does that all look nice, convey the idea, enjoyable to read, etc.? That's that. I'm sure you'll have more questions as we get closer to the end of this, and the beginning and the middle. We do have a week and 2 days in the computer lab to do our research. You'll be given passes to the library. There's a lot that goes along with this. There's research outside of class. So be sure you're ready to go here. This is the first big task, and that is very open-ended. And we're going to see what you have the ability to do as freshmen. See you tomorrow.